We can't see you, but if you cried, clap. It's such a beautiful movie. I first saw it, and we were trying to figure it out. Telluride. I think Telluride, because the mountains
So.
look like Austria. And I fell in love with the movie right away. The love story between the two of them, and I've told Valerie this, she thinks I'm crazy, is so intense. When did you first meet August Deal?
I think I saw August the very first time, like a really long time before the movie, where he was already a star and I was in acting school. I saw him at the theater, but that was just that I saw him from a distance. But I met him really when he came in. We were looking for Franz for like 6 months. I was already cast, and we were looking for him, and August was the last one to come in, and it was just clear to everyone in the room, except for him, he didn't know, but it was clear for us that he's gonna be my husband.
So
that's how I met him.
Let's go back. Is this really loud? It sounds really loud.
It
right?
sounds loud,
There's
yeah.
There's a back.
He's like shouting.
Let's go back to the day you get a phone call. You don't see a script for Hidden Life.
Yes.
You get a phone call saying they want to talk to you about a Hidden Life. Tell me about that.
You mean the phone call when they were like, you want to do a movie with, like you want to cast?
With Terry Malick.
Yeah. Yeah, I got this phone call from a casting director in Berlin. That was July 2015. So a very long time ago. I was just in my second year working at the theater. And yeah, I got the call of this casting director asking me if I want to come in for a casting for Terrence Malick.
And then you meet Terrence?
And I was like, oh, I didn't. He wasn't there. I was like, okay, I will come. I didn't have anything to prepare, which was great. I hate preparing. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was good because, you know, it made me feel less anxious, actually. No, and I got in, but yeah, there was just Grant Hill, the producer, and the casting director, Terry, wasn't there. Yeah, and then they gave me one of the original letters in English, translated in English. And then I sort of got to know about the film, like not about the film, but like about the story and what it's about, but and sort of improvised with the letter. And that's it. That was like 45 minutes. After it, I thought, okay, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, I'm not a wife and a mother of 3. That's in English. It was kind of hard for me to do it in English, you know, and so I thought it's not gonna happen. But like 3 weeks later, I got the call that I'm cast, and yeah.
And here you are.
And here I am. Yeah.
So tell me about the first day on set, because then you were given a script, but it was sort of kind of thrown out.
Yeah. So I got the script like a few months before we started shooting, and it was a wonderful script. But really, yeah, I think like in the first week of shooting, August and me both felt like we could just throw it away because we're not really following the script anyways.
So what kind of direction does Terrence give you at that point?
You know, I feel like what he does is that he sort of, it's almost like it's almost like it's like making film with him. It's like cooking a soup, you know, and you have this soup of like, it's called the film used to be called Radegund before it was called A Hidden Life. And then you just have these different ingredients that you put in. It's a farm, it's the love, it's the kids, it's the hostility in the village, it's the friendliness in the village. And you have like those different like ingredients that you just throw in. And that's how the film making is done. It's not following a linear script or something. It's more like different ideas and like or atmospheres that he wants to see, and you just try out on those. You just have a full day of like people just shouting at you swear words, and you have another day of people in the village being very friendly with you, and you have a day of being like, you know, of having a conflict with your husband, and another day of like I don't know, lovey-dovey, that's what scenes, that's what Terry called it.
The lovey-dovey.
Lovey-dovey, yeah. He was always like, not too lovey-dovey, because it shouldn't be, you know, you should see the affection, but not because they're farmers. It shouldn't be like too lovey-dovey.
Too hot and heavy
Yeah.
in the barn.
And so it sort of evolves, and it just goes on, and throughout the weeks, you just go back and forth between the scenes. You just do a scene again. You do, it's never. It's never this one day where you have this crazy one emotional scene that it said, that you have on this particular day of shooting. You can just go on and on doing that scene. So I ended up doing, I called it the week of grief, where I really literally had every day, Terry came up to me and was like, okay, so this is the scene, when you just heard that he's going to be executed. and so he was just...
He wouldn't tell you the night before or anything?
No, it was really just in the morning. And actually those were like the only moments that I got a little like, not angry at him, but like a little like upset.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually good because I sort of used it for like, okay, I'll just be, yeah.
And let's talk about this film. Terrence Malick makes some films that are very just visual. This film obviously is visual, but it's really a straight narrative, which isn't something that he usually does.
Yes, that's right. And I think that was something that, we were all sort of very happy about. Because what I think of like in now watching the film, I think is so powerful that it has this like layer of like, Terry's very philosophical, poetic approach. And then it also has this very linear, clear narrative.
Right.
And I feel like those two layers just, it's just nice how it goes together. And I feel like the result is just quite powerful to see those two layers.
I remember walking out of the theater when I first saw it, and I knew nothing about it. I went in very blind. And I called a friend of mine who's working on the film, and I said, "Is that a true story?" And he said, "Yes." And this is the most incredible part. The 3 daughters are still alive.
Yeah.
And you know them.
I do.
Tell me about meeting them. What did you ask? What did you want to know? Oh, by the way, they're like in their 80s now. They don't look like the movie.
I met them. So I didn't meet them before the shoot because I didn't feel like it's not about doing this, I'm not going to ask them about their mother, what was she like, because I don't want to do like a portrayal of her. It's not about like really getting her right how she was. So I didn't meet them before and also wanted to keep their sort of privacy. But we had 2 days where we shot in the actual house where they lived. Yeah, we had 2 days in Austria.
Learning this now, that's incredible.
I know, and that really added to the whole experience in a very special way because we were in the house and we had 2 days there, and I knew that the daughters might come to set. We didn't know if they will. And we had this, and all the scenes that you see that are shot in our like bedroom is the actual bedroom.
And do they still live in that house, or it's
no? It's like it's empty now. Like it has still those like how it used to look.
Wow. Okay.
But it's not. They don't live there, but they still live in the area. And we were shooting in the bedroom, and one of those like 20 minutes takes. And I remember like seeing in the corner of my eye, oh my God, there's an old lady standing next to the camera. And then we finished the take. And it was one of the daughters, it was Maria, the middle one. And it was weird because we just sort of like, we just like, I don't know, connected immediately, and we're like holding hands. And in the scene I had done my hair down, and she made it back into the bun just the way she would always do it for her mother.
Wow.
So that was like certainly one of the very crazy, very emotional moment. And ever since because I grew up not far from Radegund, and so every time I would be at my parents' place, I would drive over to visit them, and
Wow.
and we sort of we speak every now and then.
And have they seen the movie?
They did. We went to show it to them shortly before we screened it in Cannes, and that was yet another very special experience, because it was in the living room of Maria, of one of the daughters, in this very simple living room. And I had to translate it because it was only in English, so I had to translate to them in German. And it was yeah, I don't know. It was probably really, because it's those moments where you're like, what is this? It's live art, it's sort of bigger than all of this. I'm sitting here with them, and this really happened, and it's, their parents have this intense, great story, and they're sitting here and watching that, and I'm translating to the real grown-up 80-year-old Rosie. I'm saying, Rosie is always asking for you, and I'm translating this into her. So this was like a very surreal experience, and the great thing was that they apart from the pain that they still carry and have, they really liked the film.
Wow.
So, so that was very important to us, very important for Terry. Yeah.
Wow. Let's just talk about the themes. Obviously, it's resonating today. When you were first making, you were making it, what, 3 years ago? When you wrapped it?
Yes. Yeah.
So did, the scene with the mayor, I mean, I'm not going to get political and I'm not going to mention his name, but it sounds like something people would say in this country who don't like immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah, it is surprising. I mean, we shot it more than 3 years ago.
Right.
So in 2016. And yes, it is surprising how that, tendencies all over the world, including Austria, were sort of resonating with what we were doing. We didn't know that at that time, and I mean, of course, it was in the air,
Right.
But it's really surprising, and it just makes you feel, it makes you feel the film even more relevant, and also makes you really think about how crazy art can be, to like sort of feel that in advance, or like have this, something is in the air, and you just and it just feels like so important to, because I actually is that same scene when I saw it the first time when I watched the film, I was really like, wow, it could really be a person today, a person talking like this. And that's what it makes this film so relevant and special, because it's just what we have to confront ourselves today, because this, it's not, you should never forget what happened, and especially now, seeing what is happening. And for me, it really is like seeing, knowing the daughters, and then seeing them witness tendencies that, go into that direction.
Right.
It's just heartbreaking, and you just don't want that to happen. You just don't want them to witness that. Yeah.
Have you premiered it in Austria? Have you shown it in Austria?
Oh, not yet. There was actually just this weekend. There was the festival in Vienna where it was shown, but I couldn't be there. But the official premiere, is going to be in January, and that's going to be very exciting. I'm so looking forward to it.
It's like your whole family coming to Vienna for it?
Yes. Like the whole theater is going to be full with my friends and my family. Yeah.
And this was your first American movie.
Yes.
But then you have something else coming out,
Yes.
which is completely different.
Completely.
The Kingsman prequel.
Yes.
And you play
Everyone's laughing.
So tell us, you play a badass.
I play a badass. Yeah, I play.
Isn't that weird to think of her being badass?
Thank you.
I mean, I know she's an actress, but everything we've seen, I'm like, I don't want to see you holding a gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the wonderful thing about my job, that you can just dive into those different fields. And yeah, I'm in the Kingsman movie. I'm a villain.
What's her name?
And I had really had fun doing that, I have to admit. Yeah.
It's a nice little break after.
It is,
a
yeah.
life.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is how a woman can be too.
And August is also
August is in it as well. There's actually a scene where we both. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
I don't know either, and I
don't know
can't see
either.
your publicist,
But yeah,
so I
there's
don't
a
know.
scene. He's in it as well. Yes,
Wow.
as Lenin. So and Mata Hari, which is my character, and Lenin meet at some point in the movie. So yeah.
It's not a sequel to A Hidden Life. It's a prequel to The Kingsman.
Yes.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is really at the beginning when Franz first comes home from, at least that we know that he's coming home from the army. Oh God, I could get so emotional thinking about this scene. I really do. You know this. And you run into his arms and like you don't even know what to do. Like you're trying to touch him and you're like, is he real? Is like, tell me about that. Like, did Terrence, did he just say go? Did you know Franz was coming home at that point?
I knew that he was coming home from training. Yeah, that's how the scene was set. But it actually, that scene was like in the first week.
Wow.
And no, there was no direction. Like it was just okay. And August will come, and he comes home from training. And I was like, okay, and I'm here working at home, and I'm waiting for my husband. I'm not waiting for my husband. I don't even know that he's coming home.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I see him, and then it was just we just improvised, like all of this, like the whole. I even didn't know that the camera would follow me that far. I just saw him and it was like running for him, and Jörg just ran after us, and that was like the great thing with working with Terry. You can just, also the way he's working technically, that he has those wide angles and he has a camera that is moving a lot. It just allows you to be very free, and there's not like a frame you have to fit in. There's not like a mark you have to land on. It's just very like you can just move freely in this whole thing. And this is like where I felt that my education as a stage actress came in handy, because I sort of could really create the scene, or like the movement and the blocking, the staging, whatever. Like you don't even think about it. You just move freely.
So when does Malick scream, yell, or say cut? If he's just letting you go, is there a point where you're looking at him like, dude, what's going on? Can I stop now?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, really, there are those moments where you're like, okay, okay, I'll just keep going. I keep going. I keep going. I keep going. Okay, I keep going. And at some point you're like, and you have all those ideas you have as an actress. You're like, okay, I will do this. I will do that. Oh, this is a good thing. I will do this. And at some point you're just like, okay, I don't have any ideas anymore. I am just here. And then that's what he loves.
Right.
Because it's just when life happens, and that's what I think he's looking for. And that's also kind of liberating, to like really get to this point where you're like not trying anymore, and where you just are. And I think that was probably very essential.
And it probably makes it easy to work with kids, because kids, you don't have to really give them direction,
Yeah.
just go play.
Exactly, and that was just with them. And that's how it made it. It made it, because sometimes working with kids can be quite challenging, and here it was sort of easy, because it was just like them. We were moving along as well. We were also like just there, and we really felt like we were farmers more than actors.
Yeah, you could grow potatoes.
Yes.
Make sure you tell your friends to go see movies like this, because we do really have to support them. I do love superhero movies. I love Marvel movies. We need to do this. We need to support this kind of cinema also. Thank you.
Thank you.